My name is Samantha Komrowski, and this is my project on the goodness of creation and the fall of mankind. The figure from the New Testament that most embodies what it means to be a creator to me is Mother Mary, the mother of Jesus. I would consider her the greatest creator because she achieved the greatest act of creation that humans are capable of, creating life, in addition to creating the Messiah who saved humanity. This is expressed in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 1, verses 30 through 33. Then the angel said to her, "Do not be afraid, Mary, for you have found favor with God. Behold, you will conceive in your womb and bear a son, and you shall name him Jesus. He will be great, and will be called Son of the Most High, and the Lord God will give him the throne of David his father, and he will rule over the house of Jacob forever, and of his kingdom there will be no end." It is expressed that Mary is terrified, and it would be understandable if she hesitated, because what is being asked of her is difficult. People will surely shame and judge her for getting pregnant before being married. But in Luke chapter 1, verse 38, she expresses her devotion, saying, "Behold, I am the handmaiden of the Lord. May it be done to me according to your word." Mary is incredibly brave, and it is her trust and reliance on God that allows her to create Christ. It is God working in her that produces the greatest creation mankind has ever seen. Because of Mary's unwavering faith, she is the greatest creator, because our creations and abilities come from God and our faith in Him. Creativity as a wellness practice. One notable argument for the utilization of creativity made by the author of the article Creativity as a Wellness Practice is that engaging in art and artistic expression can delay cognitive decline, stimulating the growth of neurons in the brain and preventing their decay, in addition to decreasing the likelihood of physical ailments, such as Parkinson's, cancer, and dementia. This is a notable argument to me because though I was aware that there were mental and emotional benefits to artistic expression, I was not aware of the physical benefits. There are both emotional and physical benefits to being creative regularly. First, it can lessen the symptoms of depression, decrease stress, and lead to an increase of positive emotions. However, creativity also has physical benefits, such as strengthened immune systems in some cases, and a lower likelihood of diseases such as Parkinson's, dementia, and even cancer. I consider myself a creative person. However, I express myself in multiple mediums. I enjoy painting and drawing, particularly realism using a pencil for drawing, and I use acrylic when I paint, though I have tried other methods like watercolor and oil paint. However, though I'm creative directly through visual art, I'm also a passionate writer, and I believe I am more creative with my words than with a paintbrush. It captivates me, the effect a phrase can have on a narrative, and I feel that my imagination and analytical skills shine when my pen hits paper. This is the ability that I use when writing material for mock trial, and it is one of the reasons I enjoy the extracurricular so much. My greatest creation. My greatest creation is the mentality that I've built and the priorities that I've forged. I consider myself a very hardworking person, but I am this way because I've forged this mentality. The world is very competitive for high school students, so I am aware that I need to work harder than my peers in order to stand out. However, it is very difficult to maintain motivation. The brief period of hyper-focus that I sometimes get is not enough to make a substantial difference in my life. I created a sustainable sense of drive by focusing my energy on good habits, like finishing my homework as soon as I get home. Some days it is still difficult to not scroll on Instagram or TikTok after a hard day, but on most days I'm able to sink into the familiarity of routine. This has allowed me to create a life with significantly less stress than I would have otherwise, and it lets me achieve more and be more ambitious because I'm more productive with my time. These habits, combined with my persistence in doing well, are my greatest creations, and they've influenced me to be the person that I am today, and have motivated me to accomplish my goals and take pride in myself. The three people from the Bible that I have included as the primary offenders of sin, contributing to the fall of mankind, are King Herod, Pharaoh, and Cain. First, King Herod, who is one of the main proponents of Jesus' arrest and crucifixion, shows through his actions his lack of empathy. His first interaction with Jesus is depicted in the Gospel of Luke, chapter 23, verses 6 through 11. On hearing this, Pilate asked if the man was Galilean, and upon learning that he was under Herod's jurisdiction, he sent him to Herod, who was in Jerusalem at that time. Herod was very glad to see Jesus. He had been wanting to see him for a very long time, for he had heard about him and had been hoping to see him perform some sign. He questioned him at length, but he gave him no answer. The chief priests and scribes, meanwhile, stood by, accusing him harshly. Herod and his soldiers treated him contemptuously and mocked him, and after clothing him in resplendent garb, he sent him back to Pilate. In these verses, King Herod exhibits the fall of humanity through his cruelty. He treats this man as though he does not know, as if he's the scum on his boot. The verses say that he treated him with contempt and mocked him. One of Jesus' most essential teachings was to love thy neighbor, and King Herod's utter disdain for others is a perfect representation of humanity's fall. The second person in the Bible that I believe exudes sinfulness is the Egyptian Pharaoh. The Pharaoh is a crucial person in the Bible because he enslaves the Israelites and subjects them to horrible conditions until God intervenes. His cruelest act is shown in the book of Exodus, chapter 2, verses 15 through 16. The king of Egypt told the Hebrew midwives, one of whom was called Shiphrah and the other Puah, "When you act as midwives for the Hebrew women, look on the birth stool. If it is a boy, kill him. But if it is a girl, she may live." This is his first command, but when it is not fulfilled, he gives further instruction in verse 22. Pharaoh then commanded all his people, "Throw to the Nile every boy that is born, but you may let all the girls live." This is Pharaoh's most serious offense, and one of the most serious that can be committed because of the moral bankruptcy required for his actions. Not only is he killing people on a massive scale, he's commanding the murder of infants, society's most innocent and vulnerable. This is an excellent example of humanity's fall because it shows not only the lack of compassion and a rejection of God, but a willingness to cross all moral boundaries. The third person that I selected as a representative of humanity's fall is Cain, the son of Adam. Cain's crime is described in the book of Genesis, chapter 4, verses 8 through 10. Cain said to his brother Abel, "Let us go out in the field." When they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother Abel and killed him. Then the Lord asked, "Cain, where is your brother Abel?" He answered, "I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?" Cain's murder of his brother Abel was the first murder ever committed, and it is the pinnacle of humanity's fall. There were Adam and Eve who sinned before him, but both sinned for pleasure. They want something for themselves, and though greed is a sin, it is one that is committed to bring the sinner happiness. Cain's actions are not to bring himself pleasure. They are to bring his brother pain. He kills Abel because he is jealous of him, and because he commits the first vindictive, cold-hearted sin, Cain brings attention to humanity's fall. My greatest fall. I sin often. It is a common occurrence for me, and I have never once been one to judge others for their sins, nor myself, as I center my attention on future actions. However, the fall that I regret most is allowing my relationship with my sister to deteriorate. My sister is 3.5 years younger than me, and currently in 6th grade. Her name is Danica, and I used to be quite close to her during elementary and then middle school, as I had significantly more free time. However, when I transitioned to high school, I began to get home increasingly later, and this impacted how much I talked to my family in general, but specifically my sister, especially because I threw myself into extracurriculars, trying to do as much as I physically could accomplish. I had little to no free time. This led to me neglecting my relationship with my sister, as I rarely saw her, and when I did, I was often exhausted and stressed about the homework that I had to finish. I would snap at her when she tried to tell me about her day, and though I was experiencing a large amount of stress, that does not excuse my actions. I was inconsiderate to how she felt, and I didn't want to talk to her because I thought it was wasting my time. I never considered how my brusque responses affected her. Once my workload lessened, near the middle of last year, I realized that I barely talked with my sister anymore, and I set out on repairing our relationship. I will never make the same mistakes that I did again, but I consider my actions towards my sister during that time to be my greatest fall.